if we are not talking about AI, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about HI. Now, HI stands for, any guesses? Hi, yes, hi, correct, right. Wikipedia said that this is the definition, right? The cognitive, strategic, and practical processes by which design concepts, proposals for new products, buildings, machines, etc. are developed. Now, when I read this, my first reaction was this. What are you trying to say? I press a button and it gets silent. I press another button, it just goes back to whatever it was, right? So, based on these two examples, let me try to oversimplify and tell you what product is in my definition. A product solves my problem, tells me what I need to know, doesn't tell me what I don't need to know. So essentially, it is all about prediction. You predicted things for me, and just like the way I or my teams, everyone, we predict things what our customers will like. And as I was going through the exhibitions out there, I also realized that probably architecture is also very much same, because you are essentially building stuff for your customers who are humans. And if you don't understand them well, their needs, their likes, dislikes, aspirations, goals, you'll probably not do a good job at neither architecture nor design. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to tell you about 3 AI tools that you cannot miss. We are in the world of AI, isn't it? Excited? No, sorry, that's not what I'm going to do today. I was just trying to be funny, okay? So, if we are not doing AI, but it's 2025, we should do something about AI, right? Let's do a small AI exercise, a little game that we'll play, okay? I'll ask you a question, but I'll give you the answer only at the end of this session, perhaps. Perhaps. Okay, this is my Instagram handle. Some of you perhaps, maybe you follow me, some of you don't. So I create videos out there. So your exercise is, go to my page and figure out how many of those talking head videos are real me and how many of those are AI. Okay? Give me a split up. Not now. I'll tell you the answer later, perhaps. Cool. So if we are not talking about AI, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about HI. Now, HI stands for, any guesses? Hi, yes, hi, correct, right. One more thing that HI stands for is human intelligence. So boring, right? Okay. By the way, before we get into HI and human intelligence, is there anyone in this room who is worried that AI is going to take your job or something? Yeah? No? No? Yeah, I see 1 or 2 people nodding their heads. Okay. Because I'm a designer, as you know. So whenever I go into a gathering of designers, that's like one of the questions that I get to hear very, very often. But then you folks are different, architects. So I was wondering if you have the same questions or not. But okay, I think I've already been introduced. So I'm Assistant Vice President at Swiggy. People call me Sapta because I have a long name even for Indian standards, so feel free to do that. And I'm going to talk about product design today, okay? Now, I know some of you do product design here as well because I was seeing some wonderful exhibits in the other room out there. I also do product design, but in a digital form. Some of you may not even consider that as product design, but here I am at the stage, so I have my next 45 minutes to speak. You can't stop me. So, let's start with something that happened a while back, okay? I'm a night owl. So I stay awake at night and I keep doing different stuff. Now, these days I'm compelled because I'm a new father and I don't have an option but to be a night owl. So once I was awake, it was almost 3 in the morning and I get a missed call, okay? I looked into my phone and I saw that, hey, can we have this turned off? Maybe the slides are not visible very well. Yeah? So I saw that the missed call was from a friend at 3 in the morning. Did something like this ever happen to you? Yeah? Now, if it did, okay, even if it hasn't happened, can anyone just say, how would you feel if you get a missed call from a friend at 3 in the morning? How do you feel? Anyone? You'll panic. Anyone else? Yeah? You'll be scared, right? Yeah, I was scared too. But then, this friend of mine was also a night owl like me, and he was a gamer. So I knew that at 3 in the morning, he was probably, in the middle of his gaming sessions, and probably got bored of gaming, and he just gave me a call, and I missed his call, right? So I didn't panic, but you are right. It could have been a panic-worthy situation. Let us change the situation a little bit. What do you think now? Now, if you get a missed call from your mom at 3 in the morning, how would you feel? Panic? Definitely panic. You should panic, right? Typically, moms are not awake at 3 in the morning. And if they give you a missed call, which means something is not right, or she would have dialed by mistake, and we always hope it's the latter, right? So we all will panic. We know that. Let's change the situation a little more. Missed call from mom at 5:35 p.m. How do you feel? Normal, right? You won't panic. Maybe, she's having her evening tea, and maybe she just called me up to know if I have had my evening tea or not, right? So it's absolutely normal. Now, if you see what happened in all these 3 situations, right? It's the same thing. You getting a missed call. But the way you reacted to it was massively different based on who the person was and what time you received the missed call, right? Now you're trying to understand what I'm saying? That's, in a way, what product design is. We'll get back to that story in a while. In fact, this is not just going to be a monologue. I need you all to participate and answer a lot of things, okay? Because I'm going to make you all design today with just your head, because this is about human intelligence, like I said. Okay, so let's first understand what product is, right? If you just go and Google this word called electricity, right? And I chose this example because I'm an electrical engineer, IIT Madras, you said, right? Yes. So if you Google electricity, you'll see some visuals like this on Google, okay? Now let us try to imagine centuries back when electricity was discovered. We all have heard that story of Benjamin Franklin flying that kite on a stormy night, right? Then he touched it, he received some shock. That's how he discovered electricity. Imagine that time, if someone would have told people, hey, there's this wonderful thing called electricity, I'm going to sell it to you, you buy because it's very useful. People wouldn't believe them because they didn't know what electricity could do to me. Sure, it's like movement of electrons and protons from here and there, all that stuff. But then what do I do with that? Why would I pay money for it? But look today, we all pay money for electricity, don't we? Right? Because there's one thing or one kind of thing that came in between. Let's see one of those examples. Light bulb. Do you want to buy electricity? Nope. Do you want to buy something which will make your home like it is day, even at night? Yes, I want to buy it. This is what product does, right? It uses existing technologies and phenomena and everything, and it tries to solve something for your consumers so that they are willing to pay money for it, right? So, light bulb is a product. So is many other things. This room is filled with a lot of electric gadgets. This is also a product, one of my favorite products out there. And this has noise cancellation. This is AirPods Pro if you use it, right? And to make noise cancellation work, there's a lot of signal processing that goes inside it. There are mics that gather the ambient noise, then it creates anti-waves, then it cancels it out. I know it because I'm an electrical engineer. But when I'm using my AirPods Pro, I don't need to know about any of those. All that I need to know as a consumer is, I press a button and it gets silent. I press another button, it just goes back to whatever it was, right? So, based on these 2 examples, let me try to oversimplify and tell you what product is in my definition. A product solves my problem, tells me what I need to know, doesn't tell me what I don't need to know. Okay, that's it. I know product could mean a lot of things, but I could sum it up in these 3 sentences. And since we are talking about design out here, in my experience, whatever I have seen, solving my problem is, almost everything does. But good products, well-designed products, does a very good job at balancing these two. That is telling me what I need to know and not telling me what I don't need to know. In this aspect, again, you would see Apple products do a very good job because it doesn't tell you unnecessary things. It doesn't have a lot of customization. It believes in doing the right thing for the customers based on what they think is right, so that customers can just be as dumb as they want to, and they can go ahead and use it, right? So that is product, okay? Let's see a bit about design. Now, when I said digital design, some of you would have already judged me. Oh, okay, you are that UI UX guy, right? You are the one who creates rectangles, then fill it up with fancy color, give it rounded corners, add some text, and call it a button. Sure, I do this as well, but that's not the design I'm going to talk about today, right? I also have a YouTube channel. You go watch one of my videos, you learn this thing in under 20 minutes. So what's the point of calling this a masterclass? So I thought, let's do something more. Let's use human intelligence and tackle this thing called design thinking. Very heavy word. How many of you know what this means? Anyone? Any guesses? One or two shouts? No? Don't worry. I gathered the definition for you. So I Googled it again, and Wikipedia said that this is the definition, right? The cognitive, strategic, and practical processes by which design concepts, proposals for new products, buildings, machines, etc., are developed. Now, when I read this, my first reaction was this. What are you trying to say, right? Is that the most simplest way to define what design thinking is? And that led me into thinking, probably not. So I feel this is what design thinking is, making smart predictions based on situations, time, and people. And now when I sum it up like this, some of you may not even agree with me, but all that missed call stuff that we discussed a while back, and when you analyzed, it's 3 in the morning, it's a friend, panic. It's 3 in the morning, it's a friend who's a gamer, don't panic. Mom, panic, girlfriend, don't panic, whatever, right? That, whatever analysis that you did at the grassroots level is design thinking in a way. Okay. Shall I prove it even more? Let's play another game, okay? Let's play another game. The name of this game is called Coffee or Chocolate. Sounds yummy? So here's your question. If you were to pick a flavor of ice cream for yourself, what would you pick between these two? Would you pick coffee? Would you pick chocolate? Okay, we need to do a vote. How many of you say coffee? Raise your hands. Okay, some number of people, coffee. How many of you say chocolate? More number of hands, right? And there are some people who conveniently didn't raise hands. It's okay, plus next time please do, it's fun, right? Okay, so if you look at it, it was a very easy thing for you to do because you know yourself the best. You know what you had a while back, yesterday, 1 month back, whatever. And like based on all of that, you could pick a flavor for you. But this is a tougher question. What is Saptar's choice? Now you'll have to do that, okay? Do the same thing, but pick for me. I know it's not as easy as before, but whatever you know about me so far, use that, think, and decide what flavor of ice cream would you pick for me, coffee or chocolate? I'll give you 30 seconds. Think well, because if you say a certain thing, I'll go and ask you, why do you think it's coffee or why do you think it's chocolate? Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, time's up. How many of you say it is coffee? Raise your hands. Quite a lot of people, okay. Hands down. How many of you say it's chocolate? Fewer hands. Interesting. You just flipped it, huh? Okay, let's hear from people. Can I see the coffee hands once again? Let's ask, okay, why don't you said coffee. Why do you think it's coffee? I'll try to get your mic. How does this thing start? Sorry, yeah, it did. Yeah.
I don't know your choice. So I like coffee, so I thought.
You like coffee?
Yeah.
So my friend out here is, I don't care what you like. I like coffee. Sure, valid. Anyone else? I think you. Yep, the lady out there.
Because you said you're a night owl and you like to be awake and like do things in the night and more creativity. So I thought coffee would relate to that more because you need the energy to do the work and need that boost from the coffee.
I need that boost, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Anyone else? Let's hear from one more coffee. Anyone else who has a different reason than these two? Yep.
Based on what I've seen so far, you seem quite lively. So when I drink coffee, the immediate effect I get is a sudden boost of energy that I'm getting.
Right.
So I can tackle whatever I have to address.
So caffeinated. Okay, wonderful. Now let's hear about chocolate. Can I see the chocolate hands once again? Okay, the lady out there. Why do you think it's chocolate?
My analysis is based on dark chocolate because it enhances your brain and it's better for your health. So I felt you would like chocolate.
Because it's better for my health.
And it enhances your brain activity.
Enhances your brain. So you think I'm concerned about my health and brain?
No.
Yes, I am, by the way.
Since you're a
All of
night
us.
owl as well, so like sometimes I also munch on dark chocolate when I stay up and I'm working. So
Nice.
Because caffeine for me, it doesn't work.
Caffeine for you doesn't work. Okay. Anyone else? Chocolate? Yes, the lady in yellow.
So coffee is a more specialized flavor, right? Chocolate is a more common flavor. So as a generalist, I don't know you. So I would rather pick the more common flavor.
Interesting.
than the
So you're going by
specialized-
statistics. More people like chocolate.
Yeah.
You might also like chocolate.
It's like putting vanilla in the menu in weddings.
Right, got it. Thank you. Anyone else who has a different reason from chocolate? Yeah? Okay, fine. I think we had enough. Let's see. What are the ways to analyze it, right? I think some of you have done a great job. So, what you do is, I already told you I'm a night owl. So that's confirmed, right? Because I said it. Now, if I'm a night owl, maybe I drink coffee. You don't know it. You're just maybe. And if I drink coffee, maybe I like coffee, right? Now, based on this little information, this is the only piece of information that I told you about me. You could say that, okay, maybe my choice is coffee, right? Now, if I go ahead and add one more information about me, if I just say that I hate cold coffee, I never said this is true. I just said if I add one more statement about me, which says I hate cold coffee, then you'll say that, okay, even if he is a night owl, he likes coffee, but he doesn't like it in the cold form, so maybe his pick is chocolate, right? So what we did essentially is, you try to find a preference for me, and most of you don't know me, with maybe very little information that I had shared about myself. The only two things I said was night owl and the fact that I'm a new father, right? So with this little information, you had to take a decision for me. And this is what I do on a daily basis as a part of my job. Just that I don't decide for one single person, I decide for millions of people. I don't know them personally. I have some hints about what they may like, what they may dislike, but I'll have to design products for them which needs to work for these people. So yeah, that's what makes my job challenging, okay? So essentially, it is all about prediction. You predicted things for me, and just like the way I or my teams, everyone, we predict things what our customers will like. And as I was going through the exhibitions out there, I also realized that probably architecture is also very much same, because you are essentially building stuff for your customers who are humans. And if you don't understand them well, their needs, their likes, dislikes, aspirations, goals, you'll probably not do a good job at neither architecture nor design, right? So this is all about it, right? Now you've learned enough about design thinking and all. I think we did a lot of exercise. Now, I'm going to show you some examples from Swiggy, and you are going to tell me, yeah, you'll see what it is, right? And I need you all to participate in this. All right. This thing is called Turbo Checkout, okay? So yeah, this is it, right? A while back, this is how our checkout experience used to be. So you add certain items on your cart, and then you show the address at the bottom. Then there's a thing called proceed to pay. You click on the proceed to pay, we show you a payments page where you can select a payment method and then you can go ahead and pay it. Simple, right? But then a while back, we realized that we saw a pattern in the data. It's like if a certain person uses one payment method, they continue to use that forever, right? Most of the cases. So which means, like, if you are a credit card user, you'll probably continue using the same credit card. If she is a UPI user, she'll continue using the UPI and so on. So we thought, let's make use of this data and make some changes to the design. So we did this. We said, okay, we move the address to the top because you need a confirmation that you're placing the order at the right place. The rest of the cart remains same. At the bottom, we'll pre-select the payment method for you because we know that you like Google Pay, she likes Phone Pay, and so on. We'll give you an option to change, and then you can directly pay from here. We reduce one step, right? Yeah, I'll zoom it for you so that you see. Now tell me, what is the expected outcome? Why did we do this? What did Swiggy expect by doing this change? How many of you say A, faster checkout? Handful of people. Okay, how many of you say B, increase in sales? Nobody. One person. How many of you say better user experience? C. Okay, a lot of people say better user experience. Yeah, okay. So the answer is, okay, this was a trick question. All of those are true. So for faster checkout, yes. If there is a faster checkout, then definitely it's a better user experience because we are saving some time for the user. And if they have a better experience and a faster, seamless checkout or purchasing experience, it's highly likely that they might come back and order again, which also means increase in sales, right? That was the expected outcome. Let me tell you what happened. What do you think could have gone wrong in this? Any guesses? Anything that could have gone wrong? They didn't want to pick that. Okay. Right. So she was like, we didn't do a good job at populating the right payment instrument. Sure. Anything else that you think could have gone wrong? Yep.
The collateral people would still do the one more step of changing the payment method. The Paytm users.
The Paytm users.
Will have to do the one more step.
If you're a Paytm user, you'll see Paytm in that. Google Pay is just an example. Got it? So it's like personalized. Whatever you are, you're a Paytm user, I'm a Google Pay user, he's a Phone Pay user, we'll respectively see Google Pay, Phone Pay, and Paytm, right? Anyone else who wants to take a guess? Yes. I think we'll go with one person.
During an edge case scenario wherein they use phone pay, but then the payment doesn't go through, it's a hassle to come back and change and reuse again.
Got it. So you're saying if there is an error, right? Sure. So if you attempt to make the payment and then there's an error, then what do you do, right? Okay, what we had done is we would throw them back to the payments page. But let me tell you what actually went wrong. Yes, there was something that went wrong. We saw an increase in payment failures. Of course, I can't share the numbers with you. We saw an increase in payment failures. Now, when we looked into this data, our minds were blown, right? We didn't do anything to the payment system at all. In fact, the payment gateways are owned by third parties. It was exactly the same. We just reduced one step. How can payment failures increase? That's when we went ahead and met some real users. We asked them to place order, we looked at, we observed it then, and then we realized, look at this. This is the before and after. So our users were used to this left experience where they have a green button, they place a green button, then they choose a payment method, then the payment goes through. So it is hardwired in their brain that when you press the green button, there's one more step where you do something and then only the money goes. But in this case, even though we made the button wider, it was still a green button. Even though we had written the right copies, people don't necessarily read it. So every time they went ahead and hit this green button out of their habit, it would automatically go that payment is being made, and that would make them feel, oh damn, what happened? Something went wrong. Why did it happen? So they would hit the back button to go back, and when you hit back button, that registers as a payment failure because the payment didn't go through. Who could have imagined? Right? So this is what happened, because even though technically everything is right, but human brain is a wonderful thing. They perceive things in different way. So yeah, that's what's happening. So we made ahead and changed it. We made it into a slider. It does two things. It's no longer a green button that you tap. It's a button that you swipe. And it also helps in accidental taps because, or rather, it prevents accidental taps because it's not a single tap which you could accidentally touch and make the payment. You'll have to make a conscious effort to slide your fingers, right? So yeah, this is what had happened. Let's see one more thing. Cancel order, okay? So this is how our tracking screen was a while back. I mean, it still pretty much looks the same, but then a while back it was like this. And once you place an order, there was no way you could cancel it. The only way to cancel it is to go to help, the help that you see at the top, speak to a customer care and request them, please cancel kara do and stuff and like that. But there was no straightforward way to do it. And then we realized that maybe we should give that option, right? But the reason why we never gave this option is because, see, once you place an order, the restaurant starts making the food. And then if you go and cancel, there's a wastage of food, right? People waste food, people waste money and all. So we were like, hey, we'll not let you cancel. But then we also realized that to make things convenient for our customers, maybe we can give them a window. Because the moment you place the order, within first 1 minute or so, preparation doesn't really start, or even if it is not substantial, so maybe we can let you cancel. And also we realized that most of the people who wanted to cancel an order were because they had accidentally placed an order for a different address. Maybe they are at home, but the GPS didn't update, and they ended up placing an order at office, and they're not at office, right? So that's when they would want to change it. So, and they would realize it immediately after placing the order. So we thought, okay, 1 minute window is what we will give you. We went ahead and made this. We put a little clock out there which says how much time you have before your cancellation window essentially, and it says change your mind and a cancel order button, right? This is what we had made. Yeah. What do you think is the expected outcome in this? How many of you think it's A, increase in cancellations? What did Swiggy want out of this? What did we want? Is it A or is it B? How many of you say it's A? Nobody. How many of you say it's B? Some people. Rest of them have no opinions at all? Okay, sure. Let me tell you first the impact, what it did. There was a double-digit increase in cancellations. Yeah? Double-digit increase in cancellations. Can't reveal the numbers, but that was a lot. Whenever we design products, we are an e-commerce company, nobody would ever want to increase cancellations. We would want to have meaningful cancellations, something that makes your life better, but our goal is never to increase cancellation, but it is to eventually decrease cancellations because we'll give you the option to cancel when you absolutely need to so that we can minimize wastage and all of them. But we saw a spike in cancellations. Again, we scratched our heads. We were not trying to understand what it is. Then again, we went ahead and spoke to our users because that's the easiest thing that we could do. And that's when we realized something, right? Have you heard of this term called buyer's remorse? Do you know what buyer's remorse is? So I'll tell you for the rest of the people. Buyer's remorse is a sad feeling, is a bad feeling that you feel immediately after buying something, right? Say, you've been seeing this jacket for very long, and then you're like, should I? And then finally you go place an order, and then you're like, I shouldn't have paid it. It's 5,000 rupees. Okay, you feel that bad when you buy something immediately after it, right? But then by then you've already bought. You can't undo it, right? You would have already checked out from your shop, or if it's online and all. It happens in every case, whether you buy a 5,000 ka jacket or you buy 500 ka burger. Buyer's remorse is always there. And by doing this and showing a clock which was ticking like a time bomb, we were making them more anxious, and we were giving them a way to undo their buyer's remorse. So whenever they saw that cancel, even though they had placed the order for the right address, they would just go ahead and tap and cancel it. And that had led to double-digit increase in cancellations, whereas what we wanted was decrease in cancellations. Okay? So here's what we did. First thing was, okay, we would still want to give the options to cancel. We took the clock out. Will not show a number. We took the clock out. We changed it into a visual form, which is just like a progress bar. And we reduced the prominence of the cancel order button. Not the most comfortable thing that I did, because as a designer, I feel, hey, is this even an active button or is this a disabled button? But when we ran this, our cancellations came back to normal. And of course, we were still letting people cancel the orders if they had placed it in wrong orders. But yeah, the only difference here is the clock and the button. And that did the job. Okay, one more thing, food page. Okay, this is what probably you see, right? Two things. So when you open the food page in Swiggy today, when you scroll, two things can happen. It's behavior in any app, right? When you scroll, either the search or the filter bar could stick, they could remain at the top, or everything could just go away, right? What do you think is the right approach of doing it? If you were designing it for Swiggy, what would you do? Would you do A or would you do B? A? Anyone who says B? You say B? Okay, let's listen to some A. How many of you say A? Okay. What about you? Why do you think it's A?
Because it's convenient. If I want to just search it up, I'll have to go back on like the top and then search it. It's more convenient just like tap and just like search your buttons.
So you're assuming that search is an important part of, okay. Anyone else who would say it's A? Okay, I'll listen to her.
I like the filter options and sort out, like I can sort it out, fast delivery, veg.
Do you use it?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, how many of you say it's B? How many of you say it's B? I think there was only one hand that I saw. You said, yeah, tell me. I'll come to you as well.
It's more confusing when it's there, because if you're trying to click and you by mistake click something else, you lose patience. So some users want to, scroll and see it immediately. So when it swipes up, because the minute you swipe down, it pops up again. So it's more convenient that way.
Okay, all right. And I think one of you had said, right? Sure. Why do you think it's B?
So the first step would be to sort the filter. So once we're done, we don't have to do it again and again for every order. So once it's done, it's better to just hide it and experience the view of the food.
Got it. So you're saying that filter is a one-time thing. I'll probably just add it once, and after that, I don't need to keep seeing it always. That's what you said. All of them are like perfectly sound analysis. So I'll tell you, we started with A. We thought the same thing, right? People will keep scrolling, they will keep seeing restaurants, and if they don't find what they want, they have a way out. You go search, or you set a filter, and you find it. And then we also did an A/B experiment, and we ran the B as well. We said that, okay, what if we just don't show anything, and everything just goes away? And again, this time, any guesses which one won? Yes, B won. B won. So all the thinking that we had done, yeah, they'll need a way out and all of them, looks like it wasn't all that relevant, because people care more about what they are seeing, and by not sticking it, we were giving a larger viewport for people to see more restaurants, and that was a more comfortable experience, turns out. And so B is the one that won. So that's how it is live on your app today. Okay, I think we're almost towards the end of it. A small quiz, let's do it. I'm using a lot of Swiggy examples. Between these two burgers, veg burger with cheese, which one would you pick, A or B? Why A? Anyone? Very simple, I guess. The rating is higher, right? Of course, sure. Let me just make a small change here. Now, which of these two would you pick? Why B? The number of ratings. Such an obvious question, right? I'm calling it quiz and asking easy questions. Now, why could we do all of that? Because you know what a start point rating system is. You know what that number inside bracket means. But imagine there are people in this world who probably do not know it. A while back, I was in a user research session. And I was actually in Gujarat, in Surat. Surat is not even a small town. So there I was meeting a lady, and we were in a user interview. And I'm a foodie, okay? So I keep asking people about, hey, what are the best thing that I can eat in the city and all? So that lady kept raving about one restaurant. Is restaurant ka sab acha hai, dosa acha hai, pizza acha hai. She was like, that is like the best thing the city has. She kept talking about that restaurant. I was like, wonderful, I should try it out. And then, of course, we also look into their Swiggy app. So I saw that in her Swiggy order history, she had actually placed a lot of orders from that restaurant. But to my surprise, she had rated 1 star to all of them. I was like, is she messing up with me? She hated the food and she's telling me this is the best. After a bit of conversations, you know what I realized? She thought 1 star is the best rating. Because in Hindi and other Indian languages, we say, right, ek number ka hai. She thought ek number ka means 1 star. She went and rated her good experience with 1 star. Yeah, who would have thought, right? So here's the thing, today, if you look at this thing isn't really intuitive. When I say 673, you know it because you have seen it so many times in your life that it means 673 people have rated and 4.1 means it's closer to 5, 5 is the best. These are all existing knowledge that we have and it's not necessarily an intuitive experience. Just like search icon, we find it intuitive. It is not. When was the last time you searched for something in real life with a magnifying glass? You haven't, right? But we are so used to seeing search bar and that icon in so many digital products that we got used to it. But if you show it to someone who has not seen it, they'll probably not get it. There was once I was doing a user research in northeast of India. One person actually told me, what is that badminton doing out there? And she was referring to the magnifying glass icon. I kid you not. But that's a different story. That's all I had for today. I hope you liked it and you learned something out of it. Those are my socials. Please feel free to follow me. I don't know if we have time for Q&A. Let the organizers tell me. No? We have? Okay, maybe we can do 1 or 2 questions. You can tell me when to stop. Yeah, if you have any. If not, I would assume I did a great job at explaining. Okay, I think she has an interesting question. Coffee or chocolate? I'll tell you. Coffee is not a common flavor. So there are chances of people screwing up coffee flavor. So I love coffee. The first part is true. But I love good coffee. And there are very few places, even in a city like Bangalore, who serve good quality ice cream, which is coffee flavored, not the random coffee bite sort of thing, right? So going by that, I think there's a higher probability of finding good chocolate ice cream over good coffee ice cream. So that's why I would probably pick chocolate. But if I get good coffee ice cream, I think I would pick that up. Yep, there you are. The gentleman in green. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, what is, whenever you gave us a lot of examples of how, one of the examples for Swiggy, the pay page and example, right? How do you come up with that decision? Is that a business requirement where you're trying to improve the number of orders, or what is the thought process behind making a certain decision?
See, our goals are pretty much similar, right? Every business, we would want to continue our business. And as a designer, I feel tempted to say that, hey, I want to create the best experience for our users. But it's not just that. My job is to create the best experience for consumers, that is you all, for as long as possible. And as long as possible as in, there's no point making the perfect food delivery app, which is the cheapest, but we cannot continue giving it to you for more than 6 months because we'll run out of money. Then, customers are at the end losing. So our job is to find the right balance so that we can continue giving that service for as long as possible, ideally infinite, all right? So yeah, going by that, it's always a mix of business. Of course, we want people to place more orders. We want to give a great experience to the users. So teams are constantly thinking about how do we do this. That's what we do on a daily basis, right? And yes, we have quarterly plans and all of that. So every quarter, there are specialized goals that this quarter will focus on X. So if it's X, everyone in the org starts thinking about X. And then that kind of trickles down and narrows down into smaller projects, some of the things that you see here. Yep, there's one more out there. There's the mic for you.
Thank you for the talk. It was amazing.
Thank you.
My question is about how UX knowledge or the UX techniques can be translated into architecture, because I am an architect and turned UX designer as well. I would want you to explain when there is no means of prototyping a space and asking the user to experience it, how would you recommend that users can actually use our designs and we can get good feedbacks from them and improve on our designs?
See, I personally believe there are just three ways of taking any decision in this sort of thing. One, of course, is the data. What does the data tell you, right? Like, is this what customers want, or is it that, or is it something else? The second thing is the insights from customers itself, right? When you made them try something, did they like it, or did they have some feedback? And the third one is intuition, right? Intuition of the person, the designer or the architect, whoever is building it, right? So it's a combination of all three of them. And depending on situation, you may not have the liberty to have access to all of these three. I've seen in often, even in digital case, you're talking about a physical product case, right? In digital case also, a lot of people do not have access to the data or customers, right? Someone who's just starting out. So what do? You mostly rely on your theory and your intuition, because that's something that you have with you all the time. But I know that it's easier said than done, because we could release something and get to know within a week whether it's working or not and just make one line of change in the code and then things fall into place. But in case of physical stuff, that doesn't happen so easily, I would like to believe, right? So I would say take more time, think deeper, and test longer. Because that way you can minimize the damage. Because if you just release something to everyone, then it's a big hassle for you to fix it for all your customers. Yep. I don't know if that's even a relevant answer. Is it? Okay, thank you.